What up? It's your boy B Weezy, back for another one. I am up at my in-laws at their property today, and I'm just going to take you to my little honey hole that I like to call the G spot. And I'm going to show you with G spot. It's about 90 degrees out, so I'm not walking long. Got pants on, got boots on. Not really feeling it, but as you can see, we're not going to walk long. That's the in-laws house back there. And this is kind of, see, down through here. This is like a ridge line. There's a ridge. Well, that's a deep hollow down through there, but their house is on the top of the ridge, point of the ridge. And once you get down there, you can see where it gets thick at. It gets thick up through here. There's a lot of deer that bed in there during hunting season. And then here's like the little top of the ridge. It's a little point, but what's weird about up here is, I don't know if I've said it already, so I'm going to say it again, is the deer aren't really up here at all year until hunting season. We don't really see any bucks ever. I'll put cameras out in a couple weeks, but we don't really see any bucks until October comes around. Then from October to November, you just running into deer all the time up here. But before that, you don't really get into much. We don't see much. It's not even really worth putting cameras out early. I mean, every once in a while I get lucky and get a buck just, cruising in the middle of the summer and get like one picture of them, but not much of anything. Now this is a path that goes back through here. It goes all the way back. I can hunt everything on the right, and then right up here on the left, my father-in-law owns this to the left. He only has like, I don't know, it's like 15 acres or something. But my brother-in-law has all this land down here to the right, all the way back the driveway throughout the season. We'll take a walk through all that, but I'm just doing this quick today. But this path is a really good spot here to put trail cameras on, because like you see right here, this little tree hanging out over, the deer will make a scrape here. They'll, like, sometimes in here, but they'll make scrapes back through this path as the rut comes on. And just a real good spot for activity. It gets thick down there. That's that over there where it kind of levels out. It's kind of a bench over through there, and that's a real good spot for the deer to bed. But like I said, they're just not up here often before hunting season. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys how the G spot works, that I call the G spot. I'm going to take you guys back here to show you how this spot all came into fruition. And like I said, I hunt like 150, 180 yards from the in-laws house, but it was just through time. Now see here, it starts getting thick again on this side. And I don't know really where the property line is. I don't hunt this, but where it starts to get thick out is because the neighbors clear cut this out probably, I don't know, it was probably 10 years ago or so now. So this path is, everybody uses it. It's an old four-wheeler path that everybody uses. But right in here is where they really started clearing out at. It gets really thick and briary. It's real good cover in the fall, especially. I mean, you don't even want to walk through it now, but so like this path, I just swallowed a damn bug. That'll mix good with the snuff. Oh my God. So this path goes all the way back to the back. And if you go all the way back to this point, we'll get to that at another time. Get back to the point and go down over. My brother-in-law has a couple fields. I did do a small food plot a couple years ago when I had a bunch of deer back in there. The deer were always seemed to be back in there, so I put a little food plot in, and it worked good. I saw a lot of does and little bucks, but never really had any big bucks come through in daylight. So I even built a blind and everything, a big homemade blind out of plywood and shit. It's a nice setup, but now I haven't haven't been back there because once I started hunting here close to the house, it just became my G spot. You all know what a G spot is. It's the spot where all the magic takes place. But anyways, so this path is the path that I always walk in on. So the deer, I've noticed a lot that the deer like to bed right in here and right in here. And anytime I would come back this path, I would have awful hunts where I wouldn't see anything. And I think what it is the deer know that everybody that gets back in here, they use this path. So they kind of lay on it where they can see, or like where they can smell coming back the path, and then they know if something's back here. So if you walk back this path in hunting season, more than likely, unless you go deep back in all the way to the back, you're really not going to see anything out here, because deer like to lay on this little ridge top. They won't move, but they lay in there and they can see this path all the way. And then they like the wind normally blows down over here, and there's a lot of thickets right down along these benches, and they lay in them, and it's awful. So what I do, well, we'll get to that. But anyways, so this path is what I used to walk back and in on all the time. And I had real slow hunts the first couple years hunting up here, but numerous times when I'd come back and forth, and usually I'd be walking in this way, I would see like little bucks on my way in. They were normally like over in here or across this top. I would see them. And I always just assumed that they were crossing, going in down into this thick stuff, because behind, on the other side of my in-laws' house, it kind of is really open down through there. And from sitting on the porch all the time, my father-in-law loves to hang out on the porch. I just never saw many deer like walking through there. So I always figured the deer that I saw in this region would cut down over this hill. And I just kept seeing them, but I never really knew where they were going. And then one time I hunted back on top on my brother-in-law's, all the way back above that field a little bit. And I came walking out. It was like 10 or 11 one morning, pre-rut. Probably should have been sticking it out longer, but I didn't. And when I came walking up this path here, I was just walking and I heard something behind me. Well, don't even know if I heard it, but I just, sensed there was something. I turned around and there was a real nice buck coming through here. So when it got above me, I dropped all my shit and just started sneaking up this path, because I thought for sure the way that it was coming, that it was going to come and cross in front of me. And I mean, I was following it, walking fast, and it didn't even know I was behind it. I was, 20, 30, 40 yards behind it. I was actually like kind of running a little bit, trying to keep up to it. And it just kept coming out across. And then I got to right here, kind of where the path turns, because it was over in there. And I just kind of set up, because I knew then I had about 80 yards between me and the house. And I was just waiting for it to cross, because I knew if it was going to cross, it wasn't going to cross right at the house. It was going to come over. Now, again, this is what I always thought that the deer did up here. Well, it never crossed. I waited a couple minutes, never crossed, didn't see anything. And then I just started walking back to the house. And then, as I told you, it's real open down through there. And as far as I could see then, down on the bottom side, which we'll get to, and I'll show you where it happened at, I saw its horns going down through the woods. And I thought, I never thought that the deer would do that. So then a couple days later, maybe the next day, it was sometime right after that, I decided to hunt over there in that corner. Had, real good wind blowing right towards the house, which normally is what it does up here. And that from that point on, I see bucks pretty much every time I hunt here. Towards late October and into November, I mean, it's a great spot. But I'm going to show you. So right there is that thicket. Now, what I think that the deer do is, I think they either come from back on top, because all the way back there at the back, which I'll show you some other time, are these old fields. And these old fields were let to grow up probably about 25, 30 years ago. They quit farming them. And they're thick as balls. I mean, they're thick, nasty thick. Like, can't even really walk through them. And I think a lot of the bigger bucks, and then the mountain goes all the way out through there, and it's steep. When you drive up, you can't, like some of the places, I don't even know how you'd walk up it. It's so steep. but I think they lay back there on top, and they work the top of this ridge out. Well, work the sides of it, but then like right in here where the top is, it seems like they like to run across the top. And then if they do work the edges, I think that they cross. There's like deer paths coming through this thick shit, and they come across on this side. And right here's one good one. And then if we walk down here, it's just hard to see right now. It's hard to do this time of year, but the reason I'm up here at my in-laws today is because my father-in-law is really good at making deer steak. He like breads it and makes it amazing. And he got some out and thawed it and makes a bunch of it. I mean, when he makes a bunch, he makes a bunch of it. But a lot of my doe tags that I use, I just take the back straps out of, and then I give the rest of the deer to him because he enjoys cutting them up. So then like here's a good deer path where they cross, and then, oh, right there's a turkey. Right there's a turkey. Let me see if I can see it. There's a turkey down there. See if I can get all it. I don't know what it's doing. This is probably the one that they see all the time up here. It's got a bunch of hens. It's like, it doesn't even care, but I don't really see the hens. I don't even see it now. Oh, there it is. Where are you at? Is it a hen? Yeah. It's probably the hen that has all the babies. Walked right up on it there, didn't I? Where are you at, sweetie pie? No, I can't find the damn thing. Where are you at? Alright, whatever. We're gonna walk. Scare her off. I don't care. Back here all the time. But you can see now here. Oh, there she's gonna take off. She's heard a putt. But you can see how it's kind of open and through here where I hunt at. And like I said, the house is right over there. Now you can kind of see over here this wall. It's just a wall where they cleared off at, and it's the property line. So, you know, and see how it's a little, it kind of comes down, it kind of comes into a little dip. So this dip kind of wraps all the way around this turn here and goes around the other side, and you can't see anything from the house, from the porch. You can't see down over the dip. Oh, there's a couple of them. About 2 turkeys. They're not running, that's for damn sure. But as you can, they're standing right there. But you can kind of see that wall. Now, what I've noticed a lot is the deer, they love working the edge of this. Now, my tree stand is right over here somewhere. I'm going to take you to it and show you from there. But the deer love coming through this area right here. And just the last year or two, they kind of started working this top a little bit. But I think it's because there's a lot of dead trees back here and they fell down. And they've just kind of switched up what they've been doing. But I mean, you can kind of see just how it's a wall. And it's super thick and briar over there, and the deer just love it. And there, and I don't know really how much of that's clear off, but if I had to guess, I'd say 25 to 30 acres over there is like that. Now there's my brother-in-law's tree stand from when he was a young kid. They built it right behind the house here, but he didn't really ever do much hunting in it. But it was there, and if he would have hunted it, it would have been a damn good spot, that's for sure. But they just built it for somewhere when he was younger that he could just come out and sit and not go far away. Because, man, you can walk this mountain. Like, I pretty much know it now because I've been coming up here for like 10 years. But still, man, you can take a wrong turn and get all turned around and mixed up. Get into one. But you can see down through here how it levels. It kind of levels off into this dip. Now, this right down here is like, this is where all the deer kind of congregate for the most part. The bucks will like work this valley. In fact, the biggest buck I ever shot was somewhere right in here, and that's when I just came up and I was just sitting in a chair up here somewhere, and it came from this corner and come down through here, and I shot it somewhere down in here. It's really hard to tell where now, but they work that. I mean, if you get on and listen anywhere, they tell you. If you listen to anyone, they tell you to look where habitat change is at. Now, as you can see, like we're going from across the other side. It's kind of thick, but not really. But it's like, you know, the side of a ridge, and then you come here, and it's just been clear cut, and it's thick as all get out. And then it gets real open right here. And the other thing about it is you got this little dip right here, little ravine that comes down through where they can stay hidden. And then it kind of, the point of the ridge, and it kind of wraps around the side. It's just a bunch of things come together, and it's not a great spot to put a trail camera or really anything like that. I've never had luck, but man, October, November, it lights up here. And then in rifle season, it sucks. In rifle season, you don't really see anything again, but there's 2 months when the hunting gets good. When it's good hunting, that's when the hunting gets good. It's a great spot for prime time. So here it is. Here's the tree stand right there. Just a 15-foot, I call it the Cadillac stand. So comfy to sit in. Double man stand. Makes life super easy on me to get up in there, but it really dips off down below it. And then, like I said, it works around this side here, and then right in front of me, it kind of levels off on this little top, and it's just, it's hard to explain, but it's a great spot. Now, I shot my buck right here, like where I stand last year, is where I shot my buck at. But that's it, man. This is my G-spot stand, and in the fall is it really, I mean, when you can see all the way down through there when you get up in the tree stand. I'm not going to climb up in it right now. I'm going to check it out and look at it. But in the fall, you can see all the way down below me for 120 yards, and then you can see out across the top and over in there. And a lot of the deer I see come from that way, which I assume they're coming from the other side of the mountain, because I used to see a lot of deer cross over there on the road, like in the evenings and stuff. I always saw deer cross, and I'm guessing that those deer that cross, this is what way they come, and they wrap around this ridge and either go back in, or they cut down over, because there's not a lot of crop fields up here. But on the other side of me, on the other side, you go down this hollow, up the other side, and there's a bunch of crop fields up there. So I'm guessing that's what they do. I did see at the end of last year, I need to put a new string up there in my tree stand. The string broke, but it's just good. I mean, I love finding these places where a lot of different habitat types mix, and like where there's different like levels in elevation. I mean, you can see it all comes together, and through down. I got a top level spot up here on the top, and then it kind of levels out down here. And this is where a lot of the deer like to move through, right in here where my tree stand is. And I like to hunt this when the wind is blowing that way, because my in-laws' yard comes out over there. So they always stay on the bottom side of this hill where you can't see them from the house, because they're not stupid. Some people think they're stupid, but they're not. And that is one of the most crucial things for me in finding a spot, is I love habitat meshing. I mean, I'm not a professional hunter. I'm not shooting Boone and Crockett bucks, but if you want to see deer, that is the best place to go, to corners where a bunch of different habitat types meet at. It's just so nice back in here. But when you come up here in rifle season, which I've done some late season hunts up here too, just to try to shoot a doe or something, and it's never worked out, and it's always so cold, because you're at the top of the mountain at a top point, and the wind just whips up here. It's kind of miserable to sit for more than 45 minutes in the wintertime. But as you can see how it comes down, then the other neighbor that lives down over the hill, his property line is somewhere in here, and he hunts too. But the way that the wind normally blows up here, and the way that the deer come up through here, I think a lot of the times they smell him and they stay high. They stay real high and come right up on me. I think when he's not in his stand is when the deer will come in lower. And a couple years ago, I was sitting in that stand. It was either my second or third biggest buck I ever shot. I was sitting in the stand right there, and I had a little buck right in front of me, and a nice buck that I had seen a couple times a year. It was kind of the buck that I thought I might get a chance at. It wasn't the biggest one, but it was top 2, 3 biggest ones. But I had seen it in daylight a couple times. I saw it in the back of the property twice, and I saw it hunting on the other side of the house once. But I kind of saved this spot for prime time, and it was walking over here, and which I think it was gone into that thicket, the descent check, and check out where, I don't really know where the does bed in there, but I know that they do bed in there in hunting season and in good numbers. And it walked there, and I'm not one to really call to them, but damn it if that thing didn't come up through here. And it stopped and looked up, and I had that little buck right in front of me. And when the buck down there saw the buck up here, it literally walked right up to it and gave me, I think it walked right into about here, somewhere in here, about 10-15 yards from the stand. And I shot it, and then it ran back out this way and died about 100 yards away. But yeah, who would have ever thought? I mean, when I started hunting up here, you know, everybody says, oh, get away, get to where no one else is. My best spot up here is super close to the house. I mean, through the trees, you can kind of see the opening up there of where the yard is. We're 150 yards away, 180 yards max from the house. But this is my favorite spot, the G spot. And the deer love working right here, kind of through here. And you see this logging path right here that they do use it some too, to come up through. Now last year, I told you they this big tree up here fell down, and I don't know what happened, but the deer kind of started using this top more last year than they ever have. But they would use it, they'd get like in here, and then they'd cut across the top. And I thought about using that blow down there to try to ambush them, but then I got a buck before I ever got the chance to hunt it, and I never did. But I think if they do the same thing this year, that I will try to get a setup in that blow down up there somewhere. Maybe one time, or maybe even if one of the kids wants to come out hunting this year, that's what I'll go with. But I'm just gonna walk across here so you guys can get a good look at how far from the house I am. This is it. Now, some of you guys probably don't like my videos, and that's cool. I'm doing it for me. But if you haven't noticed, I don't do any editing. I don't do any of that crap. I keep it as real as possible. Because whenever I watch YouTube hunting channels, my favorite thing are the people that I can associate with the best, which is why I like the Hunting Public. I know they edit, but they kind of hunt as much like me as, as I want to see. Now, every once in a while, I find those people that are out there hunting exactly like I am, but they only ever make a couple videos and then they don't get the views and they shut her down. So I'm doing this for you guys. Now you can see the in-laws' house up through the woods there. I just walked through a spider web. But like there are porches right there, and father-in-law's always sitting on it, and I sit out there with him a lot and talk to him. Just BS sessions, and I never see deer walking up through here. Never. But now that I hunt this, I know that the deer come up through that logging path right there, right out of sight of the house. You can't see them from the house. But it gets real open. The woods get super open up through here too. Somebody's taking off on a four-wheeler. But so this is my quick shot. There's a four-wheeler path that goes down through there. But that's it. That's my quick walk through the G spot to show you guys that. And there's the in-laws' house up there behind me. Now I'm probably that's my brother-in-law. He's on the side-by-side, so now my kids are probably going to want me to take them on a four-wheeler ride, which we do a lot of that there. But all right, that's going to be it for this week's episode. I don't know what we're going to get into next week. Eventually, one of these times, I'm going to take you guys out with me on a fishing trip with the kids. We're just going to go to a creek or something, throw some lines in the water. Another thing is, PA tags went on sale this week. They went on sale on Monday. Today's Saturday. I got my tags yesterday, and they're doing something finally sweet in PA this year, that if you get that up until July 14th, you're guaranteed to get a tag for the management area that you apply from. Previous years, they did like a sellout thing, and you had to get on like the day that it opened up, or else you could miss out on getting a doe tag, because some of the areas sold out quick. Never really in my area, but it was nice not having to get on and even worry about it. I could just take my time and get on before the 14th, get my hunting license. You get with them, what do you get with them? A fall turkey tag, spring turkey tag, rifle tag, and then I got a bear tag with it. Because of our bear season, you can kind of shoot one. There are bear up here. I've never shot one yet. I'd love to, but it kind of overlaps with in bow season, where you can shoot one during like a week or two of bow season, and then the first couple days of rifle season. Or I gotta see if it changed. It has changed before. Maybe the first week of rifle, you can shoot a bear too. But that's that. That's the G spot, and I'm gonna go eat some deer steak from the 2025 hunting season. All right, peace out. Wheezy out.